We're here, folks. We're here. All right.
We're
Ming
back.
Chen has made it happen. Ming Chen's in the back. He's here. He's here by choice. He's here by choice. All right. All right, Greedo. Han shot first, buddy. Remember that one. So we're here. We're live at a Shared Universe podcast studio in beautiful, beautiful Homedale, New Jersey, here at the Bellworks, Dad. And my name, if you don't know already, is KP Burke. And I am a registered... I don't have to say that part. We're good, actually. How are you? I like history. I do comedy. I tell jokes. And we host this goddamn show, which we took a long break from. We thought we were done. But we're having too much fun with
A little hiatus.
A little hiatus. As you can see, my father had to get some work done. Dad,
Yeah.
Dad, talk to the people. There's my father, Lawrence Patrick Burke.
We're back and glad to be back. We missed you.
We did miss you, and we're going to be back regularly here. So we were just talking to Ming about it. We got everything going on. All right, already in the comments, boom, boom. Got Nick Franco back in here. Got Elton Salvador in here real quick, and good old Stu Greenberg. That's like a good heart of the regs. We're going to get a couple more people popping in here. We got some more people coming in, man. So there will be more history in this episode. Part of this is just us catching up with you guys for a second here, man. First of all, we love you. We do love you. You know, there's no reason.
Absolutely.
All right.
And, don't let the Star Wars Han Solo Mauser
not just anything here. As Ming was saying, this Mauser here. Ming, do you have a mic on by chance or no?
Yeah, I did.
That's
Oh, here, yes, I do. Hi, guys.
Ming's
How
got
are
it
you?
on. I got
Welcome
some people
back.
waving
Welcome
to.
back.
I want to just wave real quick. I got to do fist bumps with Coley and the Axeman. Fist bumps right there. Ready to roll. Fist bumps. Not Black Power, Dad. All right, Black Power's cool. There's some good shit about Black Power. I like all that.
hand?
Give him the fist
No
bumps.
way.
All right, and here we are. As you guys can tell, Dad, do you
Don't
feel?
aim that thing at me.
I forgot you're an NRA instructor here
That's
on that
right.
one. So-
Right. At least you got the
All right.
correct trigger control. there.
We got a lot of the boys in the house over here on that one. Actually, we got Quad's in the house right now. James is here.
Hey,
now,
Chris Hollenbeck.
Now I got a stiffy. See, he gets it. So, anyway, folks, I'm happy to be back, man. We got a pretty good story. Wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what some of the nonsense we've been up to over the summer. The show will be coming back. It's going to be for the big episodes. You want to pay? First of all, I give you myself for free because I have low self-esteem.
That's just the way you are.
But this man is almost 72 years old.
Yeah,
right?
man.
He's almost
Another
72.
couple
Sit
more
upright,
months.
will you? All right?
We're
Sit
trying,
upright,
we're
you handsome
trying.
guy. But
Hunched over, fading.
oh man. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are bringing the show back. It's going to be regularly something you can see. It'll be over on Patreon. The episodes that are going to have the Kahuna or Ming or my father involved. I'm going to be bringing you guys some weird stories every single week, give you updates on what we're up to and what we're working on. There is still an American Loser book that is coming out. There's also something interesting, pretty cool. A crazy stalker fan named, I don't know, let's just say Carl.
Yeah.
Let's say Carl is a crazy stalker fan, and maybe she figured out a way to get that AI transcription software, Ming. I don't know if you've heard about this. Get the AI stuff now?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
Trying to steer clear from that. You know, we don't want no AI American Loser.
No, we don't need that one.
We want AL, not AI.
That's
Yeah.
Well, the good news is this. The AI transcription service that we have is actually pretty interesting right now. What we're doing is a crazy fan named Carl, who might be blonde hair, blue-eyed, and has a cute ass, might have figured out that you can use this transcription service in order to take some of our old episodes and have them put into Word documents, Ming. So guess who's selling merch at the end of his comedy shows now? All right? I'm going to be
There you go.
literally that is my father's gift, by the way. Your gift for your birthday in November, Day when you turn 72 years old. I'm very excited to tell you right here on air that you're going to be published author,
Wow.
Lawrence Patrick Burke.
Wow.
That's right. And not just the time when you got mentioned in High Times as Man of the Month
Yeah,
back in
really.
1970. So,
I'm feeling impotent already.
got a couple of people here. Hey, good old Dinwiddie, man. That's actually one of my Navy brothers right there. Love that guy to death, man. I really do. Brian Roth, still can't prove you're real. Don't know if you're a real person. Still like you, just don't know if you're real. All right. And the esteemed Dr. Matthew Bruno Fellman is here. Take your money. No, sir. You've given me too much of your money. I probably owe you money, to be quite honest. I'm pretty sure I do. Ian Dwyer, the king of St. Augustine, Florida, back down there. I like that one. Trying to put together a run down there. We're going to see what happens here, boys. We've been busy, though. We've been busy. We did two things, and this is actually what I'm curious, because I want to talk to Catherine Clancy. Wants some ale, too. You know what, Catherine? You earned it. You earned it. That's I'll use AI and run LP's voice to say I love you and just die happy. Well, I would tell you that it feels great, but he's never said it to me either.
Oh, come on, come on. You got to earn that shit.
That's right. No, life is good on that one. Wanted to catch you guys up. We had a history-filled summer, actually. We did. Lawrence Patrick for Father's Day. You want to tell the people what we did?
Oh yeah, we saw we took the tour of the Princeton battlefield.
Princeton Battlefield, right
in
here
our
in
own
town.
backyard here in good old center of the universe, New Jersey.
Now, we argue with you. I swear I will argue with you guys here. We call it the center of the universe, Ming, and there's a reason, okay? There's an absolute reason. Because this other part of his gift was we went and took the movie, we went and saw Oppenheimer. You know what I mean? So did you see Oppenheimer yet, by the way, Ming?
I'm so behind. I haven't seen Barbie. I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I haven't
Yes,
seen
that's the
Barbenheimer.
order. That's the order of importance.
I've not.
Ming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, Ming. First of all, go see Oppenheimer if you
Okay.
have not seen it,
I will.
okay?
Yeah, that is pretty kick-ass.
That's right. And I have lost a ton of weight. It's poverty, okay? We ended the Patreon. I was living off of the kindness of strangers. The diet plan isn't AIDS, all right? We're going to see what happens. Also, weirdest thing about the Han Solo gun, this one always freaks me out. I think Harrison Ford is a righty, so the scope is actually where he can't even use it because the scope's going to be off by so far. But this is based off a German World War I Mauser, too, by the way, folks. This would have been just more German engineering, you know, and then they actually just turned
Into
that
the
into something
future.
for... Yeah,
Right.
no, it's Stormtrooper shit, so... But we did this one thing, and this is another part of the true story, that New Jersey is the center of the universe. We can't get away from it. We said it one time, and we've just never been able to get away from it. Here's the bottom line, folks. I take my father to the Princeton battlefield. We went on an excellent tour. It was a guided tour. The gentleman's name, I kept his card in the car. I really should give him a shout-out. David, correct? David Price.
Price.
David Price. Here's how I remembered him. Former Tampa Bay Rays great, okay? It was outstanding, man. But
Same guy?
My boy
No, I
Scotty
don't think
Brennan
so.
in there's on that one. Hey, you don't know Jersey. Hey, at least you guys made it back. You don't know Jersey. They got stuck up in Fenway Park earlier on that one, man. And my boy Scotty Brennan popping in there. Scotty, I'm going to be neighbors with you again soon. Moving back up to North Jersey here at the end of the month. That being said, we go down to the Princeton battlefield. I pass this for my day job. I keep work. I keep a day job for work. And every 3 weeks, if you guys don't know
Keep
it,
a day job for work.
keep a day
You
job
keep
for
a day job for
I
pay.
keep
don't
work
you?
for day job for day.
Yeah, right. We'll work for pay.
Yeah, obviously comedy is what we do here. The writing and everything else like that I work on, it's all great. But every 3 weeks, I'm on the same schedule for work, and I wind up in Princeton, New Jersey. And depending on the route we take home, we wind up going past the Princeton battlefield. And I saw that they were going to be doing a guided tour. So that was the gift to my father, was he and I, for Father's Day, went and saw the Princeton battlefield tour. Pretty awesome tour. Found out the guy who has the most things named after him over there is this dude, Mercer. Wasn't it Hugh Mercer, I believe?
Yeah.
Mercer, he died of multiple bayonet wounds. And I didn't know this one, folks. If you die fighting for a new country and you die the terrible, slow death, because he didn't die right away, this Mercer fella. He died many days later, multiple, I think 4 or 5 days later. He died. And the old school bayonets that they used to use in order to stab you, they were trifold, if you will. So it was
Triangular,
a triangular foot. So that would make it an impossible thing to stitch up. So you would much rather take a musket shot to the arm and be like, oh, the doctor's going to dig this out and I'll get myself a nice little cup of brandy or something. Or you can say, hey, I got this hole that's never going to stop bleeding, and I'm just going
Right.
to continue dying out if it doesn't heal up really soon. So they don't know what the hell they're going to work on right now. But this guy Mercer, they thought he was George Washington on the battlefield here at this Battle of Princeton, which took place in the cold January, I believe, right?
Right, January.
This is early on to...
10 crucial days,
It was absolutely. And if you can't
which
get
was
down
David
there...
Price's book.
David Price's book, excellent on
There
that
you
one. David gave a great tour. They show you a giant map where the troop movements came in, and then they made a comment. It's actually funny. Where the British troops came through is actually known as the Jasna Polana golf course now, which is a pretty famous golf course, I guess. And I couldn't help it. I made a comment. Oh, is that why they're so up their own asses? Is because that's where the British troops came from, so they're trying to be hoity-toity like the Tories. And nobody thought I was funny. It happens. It happens. All right, they're not all wins.
It just went over the head.
They're not all wins. But
You got to know your audience, Kev.
It's true. It's true. And that's the problem. I've created a real island of the damned here. The people that are hanging out with us right now are the people in the middle, like me, where we have a sense of humor, but we also happen to like history. It's not common. The history people think that we're clowns, and then the people that are like, the regular comedy people, like, we're not going to talk about like weed and pussy and stuff. And you're like, no, well, can I also talk about George Washington? I don't know why. But my point is, Hugh Mercer looked like he was George Washington. And because of that, he drew a lot of attention from the British troops, each one thinking that they had a chance to bayonet the leader, the face of, if you will, this continental rebellion.
Right.
What good fortune is the king going to bestow upon you as a redcoat if you just stabbed and killed George Washington? So he got stabbed multiple times after he apparently screamed out, "I'm not Washington, you dirty bastards," or something like that. But he was from, he wasn't from Jersey. He was born in Scotland, but he was from Jersey too. So I like to think that he said, "Use guys."
Use guys.
That's just me.
Yeah.
But took multiple bayonet wounds, died a few days later. And Mercer, by the way, for giving his life for the cause, we named a county after him.
Yeah, Mercer County,
New Jersey. That's it, folks. You get a county in New Jersey if you're willing to die here. Now, another girl we got to talk about in a second here also did something important in New Jersey and got her name on a bathroom wall, Dad.
In the same time frame.
In the same time frame, too. The same conflicts
Yep.
here. But just to sit here, by the way, I think Quad just nailed on something here. Oh, damn it, Quad, you just did something. It's homedy. History with a touch of jokes. Oof.
Homedy.
Histody. Homedy might be the move. Homedy might be the move. Because, by the way,
history podcast with a humor problem.
I used
Comedy
to do,
problem.
where I started doing comedy down in Jacksonville, Florida, the best show to go do was called Cometry, and it was comedy meets poetry, so it was comedy meets spoken word.
Wow.
And you would watch a lot of the very white nerds with their Rick and Morty shirts on get nervous as more and more more and more of the readers were coming into the room to do the spoken word part about, hey, what does he mean? He's his brother's keeper. But those are always the fun crowds to go play for, man. Square One, Jacksonville, Herman Nasworth, and Moses, too. I only met Moses once or twice. But the point is this. Princeton, New Jersey, we're seeing this great battlefield tour. There's a huge reenactment. I think I'm going to bring the Kahuna down there, and we're going to try to film it and do a little bit of man on the street and talk to these folks. Maybe we'll get Ming Chen out there. I don't know. But I do know he's nodding yes, which means he already knows he'll be out of town at a convention that weekend.
That's right.
So...
there's a Comic-Con somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is this one. This is what I'm thinking is going to be fun here. Again, more evidence that New Jersey is the center of the entire universe. We go and we do this tour, this great battlefield tour for Princeton. And then a couple days before that, we had gone and seen Oppenheimer in Monmouth County. And go see it in 4D, 4HD, whatever it is. It was amazing. It was it was a great movie that I saw where people respected cinema. You know what I mean? They respected the idea that we're seeing a movie here. No one's going to talk on their cell phone. We're all in it. We don't know. And Christopher Nolan did an amazing job with the casting and the way they tell the story. And it's just an amazing film. I really enjoyed it. And it was pretty close to what we learned when we did the episode here, where Oppenheimer is a hero until somebody decided that he wasn't. And it's all political backstabbing nonsense here. So... I think the movie did a great job vindicating him, and I hope that more people are going to go see it and it inspires more people to look into it. Hey, maybe you want to go check out the back catalog here. I got an episode on Oppenheimer waiting for you, baby. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Hop in there, check that bad boy out. You can also check out Jack Parsons, another guy involved with modern rocketry. Pretty interesting guy. So, anyway, at one point, he wound up in Princeton, New Jersey, Dad. Old Oppie.
Yeah. He had a couple other guys that were kind of...
Very, very important scene is him sitting there, and I was standing there, and he goes outside to go speak with Albert Einstein. It's one of the seminal moments of the movie here. And boom, of course, wouldn't you know it, they walk outside to this little pond. They're standing there together talking about their physics things. I saw a great meme that was an amazing joke. It was Oppenheimer standing next to Einstein, and somebody just wrote, man, this must be like... the Avengers for people who are good at multiplication, which I thought was pretty funny. So anyway, they go ahead and they get the seminal scene here. I'm like, shit, that's in Princeton. That's this hall. I drive right past that one too.
Yeah.
So literally, if you can throw a football, Patrick Mahomes could throw a football, not me. Patrick Mahomes could throw a football from where that scene is supposed to be taking place in Princeton and hit where Hugh Mercer. At the beginning, the inception of the country. Ooh, Christopher Nolan reference in there, too. At the inception of the country, he could throw a football and hit the monument to Hugh Mercer, who died and gave his life for this country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So pretty interesting stuff over there. We're going to get right into another Jersey girl because I'm in love with a Jersey girl right now. It's a good feeling, you know? It's a very good feeling. There's a fieriness to to a Jersey girl. I don't know. How would you describe a Jersey
Attitude?
girl? There's an attitude. Now, Ming, you're adopted New Jersey, but you're originally from Michigan, if I recall.
That's correct. Yes.
The Wolverines,
Yeah.
right?
Now,
right.
what would you say is a descriptor of a Jersey girl to you?
I mean, yeah, big hair, Bridget Tunnel, the accent, the attitude,
The attitude?
and then with the slight whiff of pork roll or Taylor ham. Whatever.
Pork roll and Taylor ham.
That's why I've stayed here for 22 years, my friend.
You've made it, my friend. You've
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
His adoptive homeland.
Exactly. You're from here now. They're not going to take you anywhere else. You know that. You're stuck. All right.
I'm not leaving.
No,
I'm
Ming's
not
not allowed to leave. That's the truth. But there's a Jersey girl attitude that goes around.
Probably for the warrant out for his arrest back in Michigan.
I was going to
but
say it's.
that's another story for another day.
Oh my God! Wouldn't it be great if Ming just in the camera, it's just Ming being taken back by Batman, just like in The Dark Knight. The Chinese will not extradite one of their own citizens. I love you, Ming. I miss you too, man. So here's our point: is that you had the two connections right there between Oppenheimer, who helps effectively end World War II, and Hugh Mercer, who helps effectively win the American Revolution, and everything happens within a football field of one another. Now, a little bit further than a football field away is this big battle known as the bastard of the American Revolution,
Yeah,
Charles
really,
Lee.
just the other side of the state.
Yeah, it's
on
not
the
too far, yeah.
Western side of the state for Princeton, and you're going to the eastern
heading down
side.
to the Jersey Shore side,
down,
you know.
down shore.
So you got the Battle of Monmouth, pivotal battle, absolutely a huge battle. People don't realize this. George Washington got his ass kicked
Oh yeah,
so bad. He got his ass kicked out of New York worse than, like, you would have thought he was coming out as Republican right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad. He was getting kicked out of New York. Absolutely brutal. They were able to winter over at Valley Forge and kind of regroup on some stuff. That was how they gave him credit for just keeping a force together through that time, because things were not good. And he had to get a couple of, again, the crucial 10 days. Like you said, check out the book by David Price. Awesome guy, really good guy, and an excellent tour guide. But they're able to put all these things together. One of the major wins that we had was actually, indeed, this Battle of Monmouth that took place. And one of the legends for the Battle of Monmouth, the thing that always seems to almost be the overwhelming thing you have to talk about, is you have to talk about Molly Pitcher. Do you know about Molly Pitcher, Ming?
Only what they taught us in school. She kept the guys hydrated on the battlefield, correct?
See, that's
That's right.
closer. That's probably
Yeah.
closer than what the legend is. But on this show, we live by the Liberty Valance principle, which is one of the best movies ever made. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the Liberty Valance principle that we use on the show is very simple. We say, if you're going to go with the truth or the legend, print the legend. We're going to tell you the truth, but we're also going to tell you the legend because it's around for a reason.
right.
So let's see. Our boy Tyler Prysock down here. You heard it here, folks. Washington perfected pulling out. Too funny, man. No, Tyler's a good dude. He's having a good week so far. We'll see what happens with his good old New Orleans Saints. Point being, this major battle that's going to go down over here is almost overshadowed by this great folk story about a woman known as Molly Pitcher, who actually, they say, received an all-time... I think she's one of the first women to ever receive a lifetime military pension, that they were paying this out to her. And she's an icon. There's also license plates you can buy. That's an official government document, too, by the way, a license plate, as weird as that sounds. So it's almost it's similar to being honored on currency or something like that. This is a major... But the question exists here. Dad.
Postage stamp, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, all these honors that we're bestowing upon her. Is this chick real, or is this Monty Te'o's girlfriend part 2? What do you think, LP? Talk to me for a second.
Yeah, that's she's like the famous American icon that we're not really sure she ever really existed. Or is this Molly Pitcher whole thing a compiling of a lot of different, well, not necessarily Jersey chicks, but the Molly Pitcher that we learned about in school, she was a Jersey chick. She was a Jersey girl.
100%. We were talking about Jersey girls before, and Stu Greenberg knows the answer to that one. Doesn't she have a rest area? You're right. You're right. It's not normally a good thing when you're a woman and your name is written on a restroom wall. It makes you think of an 8675309 kind of a number here.
For a good time, call Ma.
For a good time call. But no, unfortunately, Molly Pitcher did get honored. And again, that's how we honor the great people of New Jersey, by letting you pull off of the road that you have to pay endless tolls on and sit in tons of traffic for. But if you want to take a shit, you can go do it over in John Bon Jovi rest area or Connie Chung rest area.
Yep.
And Nick's right too, by the way. Nick Franco is right. He just wrote in the comments, it's the ultimate Jersey acknowledgement. It's our thing there. All right, that's how we honor these people. Now, I think we lost a couple of people that we had that deserved some of the names there. Springsteen didn't want one, but Bon Jovi took Cheesequake. Cheesequake's now known as John Bon Jovi Rest Area, and they were going to give one to Bruce Springsteen. He decided he didn't want a rest area; he wanted a DUI stop. So that's what's going to be coming out. That's right. Hey Springsteen, how many drinks did you have tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4. But so here's the story I wanted to tell. There's the possibility of this one. Molly Pitcher is one of 2 people from what they're saying right now.
Well, there's a couple of different people, but
What do you got
they kind of narrowed it down to
Paper
2.
shuffle.
Yeah, paper
Information begins to transfer.
Hey, we got to get the facts straight here.
History
so
intensifies.
Let's go to the report. There we go.
So whenever you're ready over here, sir, because there's a couple of people that it could be on this one. We have to figure out if the chick's even real or not. And again, she's pretty awesome on that one. If the story's real, it's a great story. Unfortunately, it's not real, is what we've come up with. But I'll let you guys decide once you hear what LP has to say.
No, LP doesn't have a whole lot to say, but there was a woman. She was actually a Jersey girl. She was born to a New Jersey dairy farmer, Mary Ludwig Hayes, who later became Mary Ludwig Hayes Macaulay. So there was a little confusion. Sometimes she's referred to as Mary Hayes. Sometimes she's referred to as Mary Macaulay. It's the same person. Marriage after your first husband died and you're going to remarry and take on your new husband's name, that kind of adds to your whole moniker there. So this Mary Ludwig Hayes was a daughter of a New Jersey dairy farmer. At the tender age of 13, she leaves Jersey and goes over to Pennsylvania to work as a domestic, as a servant. And she happens to marry a barber by the name of William Hayes. So Mary and William Hayes, she's Mary Ludwig Hayes, and they're living in Pennsylvania right at the time of the start of the American Revolution. And William volunteers for the Pennsylvania side of the American Revolution, and he's in the Pennsylvania Artillery. So he's a cannon guy.
Artillery man, all right? It's all about you're hanging out in Jersey looking for shells. Out in Pennsylvania, they're making them, all right?
That's right.
Time to send a few in there. Ryan Carryway, you never have to apologize, my friend. You're always a busy guy. Another guy who just diehard supports the shows. And by the way, if you're in here right now, thank you so much. Feel free. Chime in, say whatever you got to do. Leave a couple of jokes in there or something like that. Make fun of us. Do whatever you got to do. It don't matter. I just love having this audience to be able to talk to you guys, and I do get to do a show with my father, which is an all-time dream. We talk about history, and we tell dick jokes in between. It's pretty fun right now. So continue, though, sir. So now this particular potential Molly Pitcher, we're trying to solve the mystery here, too.
Yeah,
folks,
so
right?
how does she come up with the handle Molly Pitcher? Well, it seems that, at that time frame in the American Revolution, it wasn't uncommon for wives to join their husbands. And, the modern day term of camp follower has more of a prostitute kind of a connotation to it. But, she's a camp follower. But there were many women.
Mark my words, all the veterans that watch this show, they all know the truth. There will be a liquor store, a cash checking place, and a strip club within...
Not too far off base, right?
Yes. Again, Patrick Mahomes would not be needed. You could throw... Zach Wilson could throw a football and hit a check.
Probably an underhand toss would be more appropriate.
Yeah, I was going to say they could do it. So, yes, your wife could come off to war with you, certainly if you were... in particular for a couple of different reasons here. But especially if you were an officer, you'd be able to have your wife come visit you or something like that. Or if your wife was going to stay with you because you're like, hey, I can't afford to leave her behind. What am I going to do? Just leave for a year? I mean,
Right.
you have a better chance of keeping me in a good mood and having me fight, just like they did in Oppenheimer. The scientists needed to bring their family
Families
out to
so
Los
they
Alamos.
do the research. Right. They
Right,
weren't
because
gonna.
you want to get the best out of them, make them happy. Don't make them feel like they're serving out a prison sentence. When you talk to prisoners, by the way, the military guys, we kind of click with each other because we just know what it's like to have no rights. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I work in a lot of bars late at night with a lot of cleaning guys and a lot of kitchen staff, and let me tell you, it's a lot of bad tattoos and a couple of stories about a girl who did something wrong to him. So anyway, they're checking this thing out. This is the potential one, this first woman right here, in solving, again, Molly Pitcher, not a real person.
Yeah, but the women of the times oftentimes would follow their husbands into battle or follow the troops, and they would perform cooking, sewing, that kind of thing. And then in battle, especially for the artillery guys, you have to have water because once you fire off that cannon, before you can fire the next round, you got to remember you're putting black powder down the barrel of this thing, and you're touching it off with a flame. And if there was any remnants or any ash or any hot coals or embers that are still down in the barrel, and now you're going to load the second round in there, and you're sliding a bag of black powder down that thing, you could very easily ignite or pre-ignite the thing before you wanted to. So they'd have to swab the cannon. They'd have to swab down the inside of the barrel to make sure that all of the embers that were from the previous shot are out. And also, the barrels are going to start to heat up if you're firing shot after shot after shot. So you're going to have to cool that thing down. Plus, they're also bringing water to the troops. And the Battle of Monmouth, it was on a hot day in June. It was
Total opposite of Princeton. Princeton, freezing cold,
Yeah.
almost, like just after Christmas time. Battle
Right.
of Monmouth, you talk in the center of a Jersey summer. People are miserable. They'd all rather be down in Seaside Heights.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I'd much rather be inside in the air
Yeah,
conditioning, but there
Springsteen's
is
on
no
day
air
3 of our
conditioning.
run at Giant Stadium.
Yeah. But these various people that would bring water to the troops to keep them hydrated and stuff, or bring water to the cannons to make sure that they weren't going to pre-ignite and to cool them down so you could fire another round. They were bringing pitchers or buckets of water, and they had the general term was to call them Molly pitchers, that Molly's or Maggie or whatever. But that whole, it's really a nickname. It wasn't somebody's actual name. It was more of a nickname that anybody that's bringing water to the troops is a Molly pitcher.
Want to give credit to our fans right now, and our friends, really our friends out here. Check it out, folks. We're 27 minutes in, and no one has made a Molly Hatchet joke yet. All right, because flirting with disaster, that's kind of what we do around here. But so yes, Molly Pitcher was a name.
You're gonna light something off with that.
I hope so. No,
Watch.
they're pretty funny. Our fans are pretty funny. That's the best part about it. So, let's see.
So it was easily understood that multiple people could be termed Molly Pitcher, but the Molly Pitcher that we all have come to know as school kids, looking in our history books, if you're paying attention to your history book as a school kid, is probably from a famous painting that was done in 1851. So many years after the Battle of Monmouth, which I think was 1778.
Battle of Monmouth, stand by.
But anyhow, the imagery of what we have come now to know as Molly Pitcher was from a painting that was done close to 75 years later. So, the power of the media, just as, we spoke that those 10 crucial days, Washington crossing the Delaware. If we say Washington crossing the Delaware, what's the image that comes to mind? There's G-dubs in that boat standing up with the American flag. Well, that thing was painted by a German immigrant in 1853, where things were heating up in this country. There was a lot of sectional viewpoints as to which way the country should be going, North versus South, free versus slave, and that kind of stuff. And there's many speculations as to that painting of Washington crossing the Delaware. There's an African American in the front of the boat. Is that is that real, or is that just somebody's imagination that, we've come to see that painting? And it was a huge thing. That painting was, I think, like 12 by 20 feet or something. It was a very large mural that
It's an iconic painting.
had
It's another
a
one of them.
very big impact.
Love you, Tom. And by the way, Catherine, don't hold off on any jokes. Jump in there, all right? New Jersey just says, we're on Molly right now. So I know a guy with a pretty good joke about ecstasy. He used to be on a comedy special. By the way, that battle was 1778, Battle of Monmouth.
There you
It was
go.
June in 1778, which is interesting, too, because to back up my father's point over here, my own little bit of research that I did, we know what we know about Molly Pitcher. One of the historical documents being used to cite this is actually something that was recorded by Joseph Plum Martin
Yeah.
in his memoir, which was published in 1830. So we're talking about how many years later, almost 50 years later, that this guy's going to finally, shit this story out or whatever. Joseph Plum Martin, by the way, one of the great finds, if you will, of a historian. You ever have that person who's like a dork at a party who's always like, let me get a picture of everybody who was here so we all know. And you're like, can you just live in the moment?
Yeah.
Live in the moment a little bit. Well, guess what? Joseph Plum Martin did not live in the moment. He documented everything he had. And then because of that, we know more now. We're smarter because that guy did not live in
Right.
the moment. He wrote down, he took extensive notes. Pretty incredible life. too,
And
by
was
the way.
involved with many, many campaigns during the American Revolution that, we had firsthand eyewitness accounts of a lot of this stuff. But he never named anybody in particular to Molly Pitcher. It was just his remembrance years later when he wrote this book.
This dork's Twitter, pretty much. You know, the people that they're like, I'm going to live tweet, blah, blah, blah. Joseph
There
Plum
you
Martin
go.
goes, I'm going to live tweet the Battle of Long Island, the landing at Kips Bay, the Battle of Harlem Heights, the Battle of White Plains, the Battle of Ridgefield, the Battle of Germantown, the siege at Fort Mifflin, the Battle of Monmouth, and the siege of Yorktown. So literally, this guy sitting there,
He was
taking
there.
all these notes.
Yeah.
He was there. He gave us he live tweeted the American Revolution. That's everything we know about the guy. Everything we know about these things is also influenced by the guy himself. Pretty interesting. Catherine Clancy is right. There is no pictorial evidence. Everything has been done as artist renderings and things like that. There's sometimes I've seen her as a redhead, depending on what the thing is. They want to
Right.
make her look like a red. Which, Dad, if you want to tell people what redheads do, go ahead, Dad. Go ahead. What was your advice?
Well,
Dad?
maybe that's why they made Molly Pitcher arrest area, because redheads will give you the shits.
We don't know where it came from, but it's an old Burke family adage.
That's right.
Ming,
There you go.
Careful of redheads. Redheads give you the shits. I should know. There's a little redhead in my life right now. He's 2 though.
He is shitting, but anyhow. Joseph Plum Martin, this was like firsthand account, and his memoirs weren't discovered until the 1950s.
Written in the 1830s, discovered in the 1950s.
Yeah, so I mean, he's recording this stuff years after his life experiences, but he does make mention of relates an incident of the battle. You want me to quote it?
Sure. This is also, by the way, of the two possible candidates to be Molly Pitcher is. I'm sorry, it's actually broke me. Matthew Bruno Feldman, whose wife I know. They came to the taping. They're wonderful people. He goes, information that would have been useful before I married a ginger. Sorry, buddy.
We
didn't
do
mean
weddings
to.
and wakes, whatever.
So there's two possible IDs, if you will, for this Molly Pitcher. Molly Pitcher being a name always used for
Yeah.
widely like that, like when we say sound engineer for Kahuna, or we just
Who
say
was the
Kahuna.
real person of Molly Pitcher?
Is it
One was Mary Hayes.
Mary Ludwig Hayes or
Right.
Margaret Corbin.
Corbin. Right.
So the Joseph Plum Martin incident that's in his memoir in 1830, which I did not realize, like you just said, it didn't get found until the 1950s, would indicate that story probably goes in line more so with Mary Ludwig Hayes,
Right.
who was a water carrier and was at the Battle of Monmouth. So she would have been involved.
Right.
Okay.
But Joseph Plum Martin wrote in his memoirs, a woman whose husband belonged to the artillery and who was then attached to a piece in the engagement, attended with her husband at the piece the whole time, the piece being the cannon, all right? While in the act of
piece.
reaching a cartridge and having one of her feet as far before the other as she could step, a cannon shot from the enemy passed directly between her legs. without doing any other damage than carrying away all the lower part of her petticoat. Looking at it with apparent unconcern, she observed that it was lucky it did not pass a little higher, for in that case it might have carried away something else and continued her occupation. So, there she is in her dress, and a cannonball flies between her legs and takes out the petticoats, but didn't take her out. So, but she just continued on and manned the gun type of a thing. But that was Joseph Plum Martin's remembrance of somebody that they called Molly Pitcher. But he doesn't name anybody in particular in her memoirs, just that there was a woman who her husband fell in battle, and then she just, picked up where he left off, kind of thing, and was manning the gun in her husband's replacement.
Which, by the way, still is a pretty awesome story. You want to talk about the important, because a lot of times it always gets skipped over. Women in the military, in terms of like the equal rights that they have, in terms of being able to enlist or become commissioned officers or anything like that, all of that is kind of relatively new. That doesn't mean they weren't involved back in the day, okay? Because don't get me wrong, I love shitting on a good blue-haired feminist from Brooklyn. It's one of my favorite things to do ever. Okay, however, there's certain things you just got to remember on this stuff. And by the way, the comments are sounding off here. Scott Brennan was saying that his wife's been
Nick
shitting
Franco,
since
it hit her
2019.
petticoat junction.
Scott says he's a redhead. I don't know if I believe it. It's let's see, James. She was used to having balls between her legs. There you go. That's one way to say it. Who else has got her here? Based on the cannon, Quad says with petticoat junction. Based on that cannon, whoa, damn, Ryan Fenn, easy, fella. Aren't you in public? Didn't you just say you were at an airport? I said a second ago. We'll see here, man. But yeah, it's nuts. That's a wild story. That's a wild thing to see. It's always like. I remember when everybody saw Saving Private Ryan, and the big thing was there was that one scene that messed with everybody where, like, you're watching Saving Private Ryan and you're seeing that slow motion scene. They get the ringing sound in your ear. You're experiencing what it's like to have.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just a scene of a kid picking up his arm, and it just messes with you. And I'm like, in the middle of a battle, you're seeing a woman running around. And she's sitting there, and now a cannon literally just shoots right. You probably should be dead. It's almost like, again, to reference Saving Private Ryan again. You hear the ting sound on your helmet. You're supposed to be dead, man.
Right.
All right. And then that poor bastard takes his helmet off to look at it and goes, "Oh my God!" And boom, he's gone 2 seconds later. Just the drills I did in the military. I never saw live combat. Please don't ever let it ever be misconstrued otherwise.
Saw some live turrets, but
that's we did a lot of As the great Paul Hooper once said, he goes, "You have no idea how many toilets Burke unclogged. Maybe one of them was used by one of the heroes that killed Bin Laden. A toilet snaked earlier that day by HT3 Burke."
He was able to go.
HT3 at the time. But anyway, so that's one story. That story is worth mentioning too, by the way. Now, the second story is a little bit closer to what actually wound up happening here. Dad, do you want to talk about Margaret Corbin, or do you want me to jump in here?
Well, no, Margaret Corbin was another Molly Pitcher. That she was another female that was serving with her husband and was manning the cannons. Her husband was also in the artillery. But this wasn't the Battle of Monmouth. This was the Battle of Fort Washington in Manhattan, where Washington's troops got their asses kicked. But when this particular Molly Pitcher, this Margaret Corbin, she did have her arm shot off, or severely severed, if you will, and then she never really regained use of that arm. And she did receive a pension. Because of her actions and stuff. So.
And her nickname on the from the pension, so she does get, her nickname was Captain Molly, which, by the way, was a kid I went to community college with. They call me Captain Molly, man. What do you need? But no, Captain Molly was a thing that was given to her. And by the way, a captain would be a commissioned rank.
Right.
So there's a lot of women out there that will say, like, "Oh, well, look at her. She was being respected as a commissioned officer here, at least in her nickname. That was respect that was being shown to her here." Now, her involvement was actually at the defense of Fort Washington, which was in northern Manhattan.
Right.
There were 9,000 Hessian troops under British command. Hessian troops, by the way, German mercenaries. That was the whole deal. I can't even read what James Stiffy just wrote. I'm not reading it. Not reading it. But this one was interesting here. It's pretty funny. I'm going to have to read it.
No.
We're gonna have to read it, aren't we? Ming, could you pull up? Ming, could you read in your beautiful, innocent voice what James Stiffy just wrote here?
James Stiffy says, "Why am I picturing a weekend at Bernie's style hand job?" Why, James? Why?
Oh my God, it's brutal, man. But what was fascinating here about our girl Margaret Corbin, as you were saying, Dad, is that the Hessian troops, which are German mercenaries
Right,
fighting for the
British, right?
Okay, so they're hanging out. They're tough guys. These are drilling regulars here. And one thing that David Price actually pointed out to us too is that in the whole the Battle of Trenton, where Washington crossed on Christmas and was able to find the drunk Hessians, that's complete
Not so much.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
broke my
another.
heart too.
That's another folklore legend that Washington crossed the Delaware and attacked Trenton because he knew the Hessians were going to be all shit-faced from partying for Christmas and stuff. But that wasn't really the case.
It makes a good story, though.
That whole getting drunk for Christmas didn't happen until much later. Back then, Christmas was not the big celebration that we know it today with the the rum punch or whatever.
By the way, so you lose a limb. You lose a limb here, as our girl Margaret Corbin does.
Yeah. Now, Mary Hayes and Margaret Corbin were both real life people and
100%.
absolutely did serve. And they both might have been called Molly Pitchers simply because they were
The story is
in
melding.
support. Yeah.
Melding. So check this one out.
It's a composite.
Unfortunately, it is. That's like when
Yeah.
you have a character in a movie that becomes like 4 or 5 different things. It is common on that one. So, but this is a true story right here. So 9,000 Hessian troops under British command. Corbin is killed. John Corbin is killed, and Margaret, his wife, takes his place at the cannon, and she will continue to fire it until she is seriously wounded in the arm herself. In 1779, Margaret Corbin was awarded an annual pension of $50
Annual.
year. Every year,
Annual, like
$50.
clockwork. It's there, baby.
If you want to fill the tank on a Kia Soul,
Yeah.
that's the least we could do for the loss of your arm, hon. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Nick Franco asked a great question here. Did she get it put in a jar and put in a museum? This is not a Devil Dan Sickles type move.
You're
This
right.
woman had some class and some decency. All right?
She wasn't a politician.
No, Dan Sickles.
Dan Sickles was just
If
a
you don't know
scumbag.
about Dan Sickles, go check out the episode. It was
Yeah.
the greatest thing we ever did. We're still. It was our 3rd episode in, I think, and we're still trying to top it. And this show's been going on for 4 years. So another name that's worth mentioning over here too, because again, and Corbin did receive a military pension. There's legit documents backing up that. There's the legit memoirs of our boy Plum backing up. Not only Corbin, but he backs up Miss Hayes here. So the next name I have for you guys is Deborah Sampson. Deborah Sampson has also been posited as an inspiration for Molly Pitcher. She disguised herself as a man and enlisted under an assumed name. Her comrades nicknamed her Molly because of her smooth complexion and high-pitched voice. After her discharge, hey, get your head out of the gutter. Military discharge. You sick bastards. After her
Gotta know your
discharge,
audience, Kev. These guys are bad.
she successfully petitioned for a pension as a veteran. So this woman, Deborah Simpson, she pretty much pulled a Juana Man or a Freaky Friday type thing, and she signed herself up for, she did a Trading Places, but she was a woman dressed up pretending to be a guy and apparently fought for the American Revolution, which, by the way, we would have taken just about anybody, you know? So, now, the other one is that possibly a generic name over here. The name Molly Pitcher is just a collective generic term, kind of like G.I. Joe, right? What do you know about G.I. Joe there, Ming?
The real American hero? Knowing's half the battle, my friends.
Ming, I don't want to do it. It is a special episode because we're having fun right now, but can I get one Cobra Commander impression out of you? Just for my own sake. Really.
I am here to take over the world! Yeah, that's
Oh, man.
not good.
I remember it
Why?
being better. I'm sorry, folks. I know he's coughing. Oh, we broke Ming. I'm sorry, guys. You idiots! A little bit closer. There we go. But again, possibly a generic name here. So Molly Pitchers, much like G.I. Joe, serves as a common label for hundreds, perhaps the thousands of women who serve not only as ammunition wives, manning and firing the guns, but also in the Army and the colonial militia. Now, there's a ton of commemorations here. So tell me what you think, Dad. Stop me when I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Fuck. All right. I think
okay.
we took. I think you took the story of this woman,
Hayes.
Hayes, right, and just barely, literally almost losing her. She probably would have been killed, to be quite honest, if the cannonball had hit her straight on the leg. She's, there's some people that were able to live after losing a limb or something like that, but this poor petite woman would probably have been just mutilated by this cannonball. So she lives, and then you have Corbin, who's actually is wounded in fighting. You combine their two stories, right? Because you're telling this years and years later, man. And what winds up happening
It's
here,
like any good fishing story. The fish get bigger and,
oh, exactly.
the weather gets worse. And
Catherine Clancy just said she reverse tootsied, bosom buddied it. Yep. That'd be great if Tom Hanks was just wearing his bosom buddies thing while he lands in Normandy and Saving Private Ryan. Oh, my God. So what I think they did is they took those two not generic stories. They're not generic. They're very interesting stories, actually. I don't know why the term generic got applied there. They took those two stories and they spun them into this great yarn where people are always confusing stuff. It's a Bill Paxton, Bill Pullman kind of a thing. You can't really differentiate between the two, but you love them. But here's some of the commemorations that are out there. In 1928, there is a Molly Pitcher stamp. Does it have a picture of Molly Pitcher on it?
no.
No, it doesn't, but it's the Molly Pitcher stamp. Poor lady. Molly Pitcher at the Monmouth Battlefield in Freehold, New Jersey. Okay, engraved, which looks like an engraving here done by James E. Kelly. This was done in 1884, so the country's literally about to break. We're recovering from a civil war. We're in the Reconstruction era, and Molly Pitcher's story, which really seems more so relative to the story of Corbin defending and manning the cannon over here. That seems a little bit more correct. There's also a spring marker that you can see. It looks like a gravestone, actually, with a little American flag next to it at the Monmouth Battlefield as well. So she's honored by that in that regard. A postage stamp she gets.
The backstory with that postage stamp, too, a lot of people petitioned the United States government to issue a Molly Pitcher stamp at the anniversary of the Monmouth Battle. And the Postmaster General wouldn't have it because they were honoring a woman. So, again, is that modern day bullshit, or is that something that was the guy really that anti-feminist kind of a thing, or what's going on here? So a lot of times, depending on the times, so what you want to believe or what you don't want to believe. But
see if we had. Nothing will ever get people as angry on the show as Kahuna was at Carl Vinson. So.
And we got to factor in, too, that this whole Molly Pitcher idea really was in the 1850s. So are we looking for a female hero that we can tap for the anniversary of the American Revolution?
Yeah,
so
it's about so this
many
push
people.
for,
Many people were involved, but we got to give everybody credit.
It's an interesting thing here. So her story's a great one. It's worth telling. It's worth repeating, and these are based off of real people and real action. So you should remember that one here. Now, the infamous Molly, if you will, was also further honored in World War II with the naming of a Liberty ship, the SS Molly Pitcher. Ship didn't really have much luck, though, Dad. I don't know if you read about this.
A year later.
The SS Molly Pitcher was launched and subsequently torpedoed almost immediately in 1943.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a joke about women drivers, that's your time to do so. Comment section, you pigs. The stretch of Route 11 between Shippensburg, Pennsylvania.
Shippensburg.
Shippensburg. Shippensburg. There's an S in there.
As in Shippen, Philadelphia Shippens.
Peggy Shippen.
Yeah.
Benedict Arnold's hot trader wife comes in.
Yes.
It's all connected, folks. Yep.
The Shippen family moved a little further west to get out of Philadelphia, and
we found after we had tried to overthrow the Republic that they weren't too kind to us, so we took our hot-ass wife and went back over here.
Yeah.
So now apparently the U.S. Route 11 between Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania, Maryland is known as the Molly Pitcher Highway. So also there's the Honorable Order of Molly Pitcher in the U.S. Army. This is a real thing here. We have a buddy of ours, Justin Gonzalez. Remember? Paul's stepson, who is in the artillery right now. Hey, Cat Smith joined us in there. Cat, by the way, if you guys don't know, huge diehard fan of history, all things American Revolution, specifically because she's a granddaughter of the American Revolution. They have a very cool project going on right now where they're showing what if Lafayette was to come back today. We did a two-parter on Marquis de Lafayette, who was fascinating, one of my favorite things we've ever done. And they're doing a killer job with that one. I will try to post the link to their YouTube stuff here shortly. So that was very, very fun over there. But again, another friend of ours that worked in the artillery business, if you will, he's still in right now, too, Justin Gonzalez. I want to ask him about this. Branches of the U.S. Army established an honorary society in Molly Pitcher's name, the Honorable Order of Molly Pitcher. Membership is ceremoniously bestowed upon wives of artillerymen during the annual feast of St. Barbara. So the Order of Molly Pitcher recognizes individuals who have voluntarily contributed in a significant way to the improvement of the field artillery. So if you have somebody that's really kicking ass, we're not making the Army wives are not being required to bring water out to cool the guns down anymore. Or as the Americans did over in, it was the Germans in the Africa campaign when the guns were overheating. You want to waste water on them cooling the guns down, or just tell the Germans to use what?
Piss in it.
Use the piss.
Recycle it. Repurpose, reuse.
So if you're able to sit there and help out, they will still honor you and call you a Molly Pitcher. That's the honorary society over there. And by the way, weirdest thing here too, me, if you want to talk about how everything's all kind of close together, there was the Molly Pitcher Club, a short-lived women's anti-prohibition organization. By the way, to be an anti-prohibition organization means like, hey man, we're women, we're here to have a couple drinks, we're here to party. I think everybody can unwind a little bit, right? That's my kind of people. Those are the right people here. The Molly Pitcher Brewing Company, coincidentally, is located in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. The Molly Pitcher Stakes is an American thoroughbred horse race raced annually during the last week of August at Monmouth Park in Oceanport, New Jersey. Who
go.
films Tower 3 sometimes? Me. When I needed money. That was a summer job for me.
In Carlisle, Pennsylvania, that's where the Hayes returned to Pennsylvania and settled down after the war. That's why Carlisle is significant. That's her grave site too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
that one's fantastic.
Yeah.
The Molly Pitcher Service Area is a rest area on the New Jersey Turnpike in Cranberry, New Jersey.
What higher honor could you possibly bestow upon
You
somebody?
mean something in this state? You don't mean shit in this state until we can piss on your name. You understand me? So, and then finally, my little tie-in here. The Molly Pitcher Inn, Dad, is a hotel in Red Bank, New Jersey, not far from the site of the Battle of Monmouth. It also happens to be just a few minutes away from the location where Kevin Smith filmed the movie Clerks, which, when they were filming the movie Clerks 3, was also filmed on its original location. And maybe, let's say, the weekend right after they were done filming Clerks 3, Ming Chen, maybe a tubby, portly, lovable comedian decided to wander over there and record his special, and the only room in town he could get was at the Molly Pitcher Inn, folks. So when I went and I recorded my first comedy special, which is just about 2 years ago, a couple days ago, because my birthday was Monday. We recorded on my birthday 2 years ago, one of the best nights of my life. Thank you. One of the best nights of my life, but what wound up happening is that I got very drunk at the Harborside afterwards. We got very, very drunk.
It wasn't drunk, it was a celebration.
Yeah, it was very fun. My mother pointed out, Sandy Voyage and Burke has pointed out, it is also owned by Armenians. What is the Molly Pitcher Inn? Sandy, talk to me here. Follow up on that. What do you got? But my point is this: I was very, very. I was on cloud nine. Christian Cortez filmed a great special at an iconic location. Ming was there to support.
Oh, was I?
No.
Oh. I was like, wait. Was I? Yeah.
No.
I watched the movie. I watched
Ming
the movie version.
Ming supported in other ways.
I watched the movie
The
version.
great Mike Zapsik was there. Ernie O'Donnell helped run everything, man. All my friends were there. We had a great night, and I got shit-faced. I got driven back to my hotel room at the Molly Pitcher Inn by Joe Weber, and I woke up the next morning hungover.
A drunk dump.
Absolutely. And I walked right through a wedding in progress, pretty much. And it was just me stumbling through the background. Oh, looking like a frig. Oh, Joe Weber. Joe Weber. Just literally, I say his name and he pops up over here. Did I summon you, Joe Weber? I can't even tell. And my mother has confirmed the Hovnanian family owns that. The Armenians, they own too much. The Armenians, they're characters. There's a little bit different episode here for us, folks. All right, we just want to get back in the swing of things. We want to talk to you guys, tell you how we're doing. All right, tell you again, still New Jersey's the center of the universe on this thing. Can't avoid it. From Oppenheimer to the Battle of Monmouth, you can't get away from it. It's just what it is. But anything you want to say on the way out, LP? Because we're bringing the show back once every 3 weeks. I will be down here. We're going to be on the big episodes are going to be Patreon only. The big episodes, are unfortunately, going to be it's the only way to get access to this right here. You want a piece of the Delph? You want a piece of the Delph? You want to hear the Kahuna? You want to hear the Kahuna? Then do me a favor.
It's going to cost you, baby.
It's going to be dirt cheap, guys. The Patreon's going to be dirt cheap. I'm going to have one level. If you choose to donate more, I appreciate that. It's the only way I can keep the show going. I am a touring road comic. When I get screwed over on gigs, which has happened recently, unfortunately, it means a lot more shit was going to have to be done for me in the wrench turning business. So
there you go.
The bottom line is this one.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
So the bottom line is this. If you want to help support the show, I'm going to have ways to do that. Please keep up with me. And I hate saying this. We have 5 minutes left, Dad. I'm going to just say this. My only call to action for you guys right now, and then I'm going to throw it back to LP to close this out in style. My only call to action right now, it's absolutely all going to be taken care of. I have the utmost faith in the people that I worked with on putting out that special Escape from Jacksonville. At the moment, during this transition between that and a merger with another company, for the very moment, it's unfortunate. I'm not mad, and it's nothing wrong yet. But there is no way that for you guys to watch Escape from Jacksonville right now. All my clips got taken off. They're all going to be sent back to me. I will own my own special, which is huge. What an advantage as an artist to be given your own music back, okay? Not music, my own dick jokes, but you should be able to own that stuff. You know what I mean? Motley Crue helped figure that out, by the way, folks. But I'm going to get all my own stuff back. So at the moment, I don't have a comedy special until this internal thing gets resolved over here, and it will. So it's hurting me because I have nothing to send out right now. The best thing I would ask is if you guys can go onto my Instagram. It's at kpburksucks.com. Ming, can we just put that up there so they can see it if you don't mind? It's at kpburksucks. That is my Instagram. If you're not following me on there already, please do me a favor and follow. And if you can, just scroll through, watch a couple of the clips on there. The clips are all I have right now. It's at kpburksucks. Do me a favor, check that out. Share a couple of things around. If I have a funny joke you like, send it to a friend of yours with a great sense of humor if you can. It's the only way that I can continue to kind of profit off of that for the moment. This is all being done word of mouth here. Everything we do has been done blue collar because the guy sitting to my left, you're right on the television screen, but the guy
Blue
sitting
collar?
to my left,
There ain't no collar.
he taught me that if you want to do something, then you do it yourself and you do it the right way. And I am the Taylor Swift of New Jersey, James Stiffy. You goddamn right. And by the way, it means a lot to me. We got love from the UK right now. D, what time is it over there in the UK? Do I even want to know? I'm curious. So, but do me a favor if you can. Help me out. If you guys just send those clips over there. A couple of them are doing well. 2 of them went viral. So the studio, the label I signed with, they loved me. The COVID joke went viral and the feminist proposal went viral. Help me out. I'm not saying go viral again. I'm just saying send the clips out. Help me out a little bit here because the word of mouth is how I get justified for booking the gigs that I want to work. It's 1 a.m. over in the UK, and this son of a bitch is having a good time here with us. I love you guys. I love everybody.
I guess
knows
the pub
deal.
closed early, right? He's back home.
That's right. Yeah,
watching you.
pub just closed. Pub just closed. D's
Closing
coming back to hang
time.
out then, man. I'm loving that. So I'm throwing back to LP to close us out here in a second, man. But that's the only way to support me right now is at kpburksucks.com. I'll have information about the relaunching of the Patreon. We will have regular deep dive 2-hour episodes that will be coming to you guys once every 3 weeks. I promise you that. That's absolutely something we can do. Keep your eyes peeled for the book because it is almost an election year, folks. Okay? November means it's an election year. So let's get involved with that one, man. I appreciate you guys. If you came in here just for a second and wrote a comment, I love you for that. If you stuck it out the whole way through, God damn, do I love you. But let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. The most inside baseball comment. My father already saw it. Hi from the Ukraine.
Way to go, Carl.
Are you Carl?
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, man, I love being back. LP, anything you want to say to the folks here? Because in 3 weeks, we're going to be back. In 3 weeks, we will be back with a deep dive episode. Patreon will be set up. It's the great way to streamline this thing, and I can keep the bad boys rolling out. And also, I'm trying to play a couple of clubs, one of them that happens to be near Gettysburg. And if I get to pull that one off, I'm going to take my father with me as my mandate. All right, we're going to go hang out in Gettysburg and do a tour of the day.
There you go.
Gettysburg. And I won't say the name of the club. It's the Church of Satire. They should probably get back to me. Tell your friends to get back to me.
There
over
you
there.
go.
All right, let me bring. I'm going to
Harbor
come out
them.
there. Let me headline the weekend. My father will go up there and do a couple of minutes, and we'll figure out some shit over there, okay? But help me out on that one, at KP Burke Sucks on Instagram. Thank you to the great Ming over to Shared Universe. We're staying here as long as we can, baby. LP, send us home, please, will you?
No, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, if you will. And, I think Molly Pitcher was a true American loser because nobody's really sure of who the real Molly Pitcher was. She was such a big image that it had to be multiple people to fill the shoes of that Jersey girl, Molly Pitcher.
I picture her as Jackie Byrne.
There you go. Yeah, I could see a cannonball going through between her legs and coming out the other side.
Well,
all right, back to firing that cannon.
The Jersey girl in my life is actually an Air Force veteran, too, who
There
has
you go.
more weapons training than me. That's right. I am Riggs from Lethal Weapon, and she's my Renee Russo.
And she
So,
can kick your ass.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't point that thing at me.
Folks, my name was KP Burke. This is Lawrence Patrick Burke. The show is called American Loser, and thanks for checking us out, man.
Thank you.
Have a good night, folks.
Ming. Duck.